So you want to learn about the new royal builds. Let's go over them. Alright, so this is a team comp I'm doing where each unit is a royal unit, like a prince or princess, or like one of the main royal characters who have retainers. And we're also running a Lear, who basically does also have retainers, but you're forced to run a Lear anyways. So we are running like Avenir, Divine Dragon, Vidam, Cupido, Tier d'Elite, Lindworm, Successor, Picket, and Sleipnir Rider. And then obviously as I go through the playthrough, I'm going to be running different emblem rings on each character. So basically there's 9 characters in the playthrough. I do get the Dancer this mission, but then I'm dropping him because he's not a royal. So that being said, how are these builds going? What are the builds? So far, the builds aren't fully completed. This is like approaching the halfway points. We're on chapter 15, and I did do a few paralogs, and some of the builds are kind of going. So the first build is this Alir Lucina build, where you can 90% bonded shield anything, which is decent. It's not as good as 100% bonded shield, but it's enough where you can usually cause a unit to tank like 3-4 enemies, and if you get lucky and don't get 10%'d, you'll be fine, and the bonded target will survive. But they also are an avoid tank with avoid plus 20 that you get early. You can only get this from Marth, and then you also run Micaiah engraving on Folkvanger. Now the other passive, I'm debating on if it should be sword power or speed plus. If it's going to be sword power, obviously I can't get that until later, but that makes the most sense. And then I'd have to run probably like speed plus 2 tonic just to consistently have high speed. Lucina does give, I think, plus 3 to 4 speed at max bond level. It might be 4, but if it's 3, that's fine. So this does help fix speed, which also contributes to avoiding. And then of course, when you're bonding, once I get bond level 13, I will have dual support, which allows me to get more avoid just by existing. So this Alir would be basically an avoid tank, and currently is an avoid tank. And some of these enemies can't even hit him right now. These have like 7% hit rate, and then these have 0. And this one also is like 20 something. So these won't attack him, and these will barely be able to hit him. So if there's other targets, they'll prioritize those, so he can just kind of go wherever, just do whatever, attack things, go for doubling on some of these slower enemies. Now, as he levels up, he should get faster, obviously. So as long as he hits like 30 speed with speed tonic and another build I'm about to show, he should be fine. All right, the next build we have, this is Alfred. He's missing an emblem ring. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but right now he is a Silver Great Lance power that just wants to go for one-shots. Long term, he'll have Lance Power 5, and I might actually get him Bravery damage. He might just go pure damage. We'll see. I don't want to put Erica on him because he just hits once, and Erica really benefits units that multi-hit, or magical units, because they can use the Bravery damage. So for now, he has this like kind of avoid-ish tank. It's not the biggest avoid tank, but he has like 50 avoid, which helps dodge occasionally. His speed is so low that he does get doubled when initiating, so this might be a problem. He might actually just want to go for like Super Spear or like utility. It's hard to say. He might actually end up getting Lin. We'll see. But for now, this is what his build is. Okay, and then on Saline, I'm debating on just making her a Coron Thoron. So she just uses Coron and she uses Thoron, which is a very standard build for her. She does have like Leaf and Sigurd builds and stuff like this, but the most practical thing for her is to be able to spam fire and snap freeze. It's just so useful in a general playthrough. I think I'll try a different build out just for the hell of it, just because we all know, like, Coron bots are good, so. Alright, and then Ivy, she's on Lin for now. I might put Speed Taker on her and take Lin off of her, so that way she can still double as long as she gets 5 kills, and run something else on her. But for now, she's just a Lin user. Okay, the Alchrist build. This build is actually pretty good. So, Byleth on Covert gives +5 speed, and if you instruct or if you dance, you give +5 speed to all your targets. So this helps enable some of these slower units to double. So this is almost like needed. In my normal team comps, my units are fast enough they don't need something like this, but in this team comp, they definitely do. So it's nice to have. But he can AoE dance and refresh people while giving them speed, and also super instruct for 4 turns or 3 turns once I get the bond level up and do Byleth's Paralog, which I'll probably do after this mission. Fogado, he is honestly really fast. Like so Byleth gives plus speed, so Alchrist is plus 2 more speed than Fogado, and Fogado is just faster than him. He's also on Radiant Bow right now. He's 26 speed on Silver Bow, whereas Alchrist is 23 speed with plus 2 more speed from his Emblem Ring and passive. So Fogado is actually just like so much better than Alchrist, it's not even close. And then in terms of like damage, I guess Alchrist has higher strength for now, but Fogado has better mobility. Their actual levels, they're pretty similar in terms of level, but he's just naturally fast with high build. He does have similar build to Alchrist, so it's not like too big of a difference. Then strength 15 versus strength 14. So he's decent. As for his Emblem Ring, that'll be determined as I get more Emblem Rings, so we'll see. And then for Diamant, I'm trying out a successor build, and so far it's okay, I guess. His dex is 16, so his chance of triggering Soul is quite low. I'm considering putting him on something else that improves his dex so he can trigger Soul more often, but his speed is like average. Like right now he's like 20 speed on weightless weapons, which is decent. Some of these enemies are slow, but this is just like, these are the early mid-game enemies. Like some of them aren't even promoted, and the ones that aren't promoted generally are slow and have bad stats, so he's going to be doubling those for a while. But I can see his speed falling off. He's running Canter and Axe Power. The idea is he just goes for crits, so he just gets crits up and then smacks dudes and gets out. He doesn't really tank as much. I could try to switch Canter for like Gentility Plus so that he can actually get -5 damage and then tank better. I think that would help him. Now his defense is okay. It's not too high, but it's good enough that it's gonna like help mitigate damage. His res definitely isn't the best, like 10 res. If he gets doubled by a mage, which could happen, he's going to take serious damage even when he's taking half damage, so we'll just kind of stick him in here. Okay, and then Tamara, she's just on speed +5 with Fencelar. She just goes for doubling. She's just really fast. I just got her, you know, Master Sealed her, had her hit level 5, put Fencelar and Javelin on her, and she one-rounds things fairly well, and she doesn't have Lance Power yet, so like she pretty much always wants Lance Power. Her damage isn't terrible, like her strength is not as bad as people think, but as long as you have like Fencelar or like a good Javelin and like Lance Power 2 to 3, she'll be fine. And then she could also go for Sandstorms. Okay, and then finally we have Hortensia. She has no passives yet. I need to figure out what I want to do with her, so we'll see. But of these, the Alchrist build is definitely something new that I haven't used before with the Covert +5. The Alfred build, I'm still trying to figure out Alfred and Diamant's build. They kind of, like, honestly, Diamant just seems like he's like a slower Tamara. So she is 22 base speed, and he is 19. So she's a little bit faster than him at like a similar level, but she's going to become faster than him. Like she has a higher speed growth than him, so long term she's going to be even faster. And that's one of the issues with him being on Ike Tank, because he's like fast enough to probably not get doubled by medium speed enemies, but he's not fast enough to double things himself outside of like these under promoted enemies that have terrible speed. So long term I can see his speed being an issue, and I might have to drop Canter for it, which is fine because honestly Ike Tank shouldn't even have Canter. Like I do just want to run Ike on Tamara, but I want to try it on different units. But honestly, I feel like with this build, it makes more sense for him to be on like Roy and get like the holdout +++ for free, get the extra damage so he one-shots with crits, and then just like, you know, get low HP. Well, then he needs Wrath though. Yeah, like I don't know. It's weird. I feel like Canter doesn't really work well in with this build. I think Panette doesn't need Axe Power, so she could run like Canter and then Wrath and then like Roy or Leaf or something and kind of get away with like using Canter, but I think Canter is probably too much of an ask here. So he probably has to drop this for Wrath and then run like Roy. So he'll have to like commit to position after he gets a crit. and he'll also have to keep his health low, so it's like one of the big downsides, right? Now Roy does give +6 strength, so maybe that's enough for him to drop axe power, because that's +6 damage, and when you're critting, that's 18 more damage, so I think that could be enough. We'll see. And then when you use level up, you also get like 2 or 3 points more of strength, also increasing your damage. And Roy does increase speed by like 2 to 3, depending on your speed growth when you engage with him. So this is the team for now. As we get more emblem rings, obviously I'll be experimenting more. The thing with Lucina, like I want to use Lucina on different units, but basically, if I use it on like Alfred, I already did just a Wolf Knight Alfred on Lucina recently. He's going to need to bond other calves, and there's one of those. So like, there's no clear, obvious Lucina unit, because it's only like, it's either flyers bond flyers, calves bond calves, armor bonds armor. Backups don't have a backup bonding backup effect. Dragon just gets 10% more, so it's 90% base. But that's pretty much it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this or found this useful. Also, feel free to drop a comment as to what you think about these builds, or if you have any ideas for other builds, or builds that you run and you just want to talk about them. Feel free to drop comments, and I'll see you next one. Peace.